In more news coming in, Pakistan's decision to shut its airspace to India has not only rerouted its own carriers but has also forced airlines from Europe to choose a different route altogether. Airline tracking site Flight Radar 24 has put out on X that carriers like Air France, British Airways and Swiss Airways have changed their flight routes since the 30th of April to bypass the Pakistani airspace. In the past 2 days, some flights like Lufthansa's route to India and Bangkok, Polish Airlines, Warsaw and the IT Airlines Rome-Delhi have chosen to avoid flying over Pakistan despite not receiving any official notice or a NOTAM. This has caused flights to operate with an extra hour but avoid Pakistani airspace altogether. Meanwhile, earlier this week, remember, India closed its airspace for flights operated by Pakistan Airlines in a fresh retaliatory move amid the escalating tensions with the neighbouring country following the Pahalgam terror attack. But what really does this imply? I take this conversation forward. Joining me on the broadcast is Dr. Sharad Kohli, senior economist. Sharad Kohli, can we perhaps please show this to our viewers on the screen? Yes, so this is Flight Radar 24, Dr. Kohli, which is put out on the 1st of May, the following tweet. Air France, British Airways and Swiss flights are adjusting routes since yesterday to avoid crossing through Pakistan. Some airways in northern Pakistan are NOTAMed, unavailable through May, leading to adjusted routings with Pakistan as well. Meanwhile, they've also today put out the following. There's another handle that's put out the following, saying Pakistan poised to bleed airspace usage revenues. Multiple Western carriers have opted to avoid Pakistani airspace. Indian pilots FDTL affected. Sharad Kohli, I want to understand from your perspective, a lot of people today are wondering or questioning what is it that India is essentially or effectively doing in retaliation to the terror attack. Could you help shed light on what the economic impact shutting down an airspace would have for a crumbling economy like Pakistan? And if you could also address the fact, why do you think several airlines are choosing to avoid Pakistani airspace, even though the Pakistani airspace is only shut to Indian Airlines?
Good morning, Devika, and good morning to the viewers of NewsX. I think India's resolute decision to give a fitting answer to the Pahalgam attack, I think, and the ongoing preparations has alerted the world, and Pakistani airspace is no more safe. Well, Pakistani, airspace being closed for Indian Airlines, and likewise, when India took a decision to close the Indian airspace for Pakistani Airlines, has led to a message around the world, both on the eastern and the western side, that Pakistani airspace is no more safe. It is very important to note, Devika, that the airlines flying from Southeast Asia and South Asia or Far East, because of Pakistan's strategic locations, they fly over Pakistan to reach the west. It's a gateway to the Middle East, and then onwards to the West and America, because it's a shorter route. If you the way you were showing on the screen, then you go underneath Pakistan, it becomes a longer route. Now, very important point to note, Devika, here is that not many people know that you don't just fly over a country for free. There is something called overflight charges. And these overflight charges basically mean when you're traversing an airspace of a country, you have to pay to that country. And my own calculation of Pakistan's revenue, which comes on a daily basis, because of its strategic location, is $300,000 per day, which means if all the international airlines, they stop operations and they stop flying over Pakistan, which is definitely going to happen. You named a few, but others are going to follow. You will see Qatar Airways, you will see other American airlines, you will see other European airlines. They will stop flying, and the same will happen to Singapore Airlines, Japan Airlines, Qantas from Australia. They will all stop flying, and once they all stop doing, a bleeding Pakistan economy is going to lose $300,000 per day of revenue by way of overflight charges. Now, why are these overflight charges levied? Because There is radar, involved. There is air traffic control services involved for the safe passage of the flight. So Pakistan is going to lose that revenue. Now, just because Pakistan International Airlines has been stopped to use Indian airspace, we should not forget that Pakistan International Airlines was asked to close down and sold by IMF during its bailout when $7 billion was given in 2024. Now, Pakistan invited bids, Devika, and in the bid was for 30 crore rupees, 30,000 crore rupees at that time, and only bid for 3.6 crore was received. Nobody came forward, and they wanted to sell 60% of the stake. Now, no company in Pakistan wanted interference of 40% of the government, so it went unsold, which means the condition levied by IMF was not fulfilled, and annual loss of PIA at this point in Indian rupees is around 3,000 to 3,500 crores. So it is already bleeding, and because of closure of Indian airspace to Pakistan International Airlines, the total loss, additional loss, is going to be another $100 billion. So you can imagine what's going to happen to Pakistan aviation industry now. And this is like rubbing salt on the wound. If all the international airlines also close down their route to Pakistan or through Pakistan, I think it is going to be a complete mess. We should also not forget, Devika, that Qatar Airways and a lot of other airlines have closed their flights altogether to Pakistani destinations like Karachi, Islamabad, Faisalabad. They have closed the flights have been suspended. So it's one after the other blow on the Pakistan aviation industry, on a bleeding economy, I think, which has got nothing to look forward to. No investments coming down. The rupee is falling. Inflation is rising. On top of that, they are spending so much on these military drills and so on and so forth. I think Pakistan, even without a war, is going to collapse, in my view. But I think this will be a double whammy for Pakistan if all the international airlines, they decide to suspend passing through Pakistan airspace.